I'm Ryan. This is my brother Daniel. This is Rolls in the Family. And today we are talking about board games when you just don't have enough time. Not enough time
Which happens
to
a lot.
maybe get to the big games that you want to the table. And you maybe need just a filler. Filler is often what these are referred to.
Yes.
We had to kind of nail down what our criteria for this list was because it's a little ambiguous. I think where we kind of landed is we're looking at kind of the 15 to 30 minute range. Mm-hmm. But that's kind of like including setup. Like if a game, takes a while to set up or something, that could bump it out of this list. There's also kind of an implied easy to teach factor. Like again, the situation is you're wanting to like take it out and play quickly.
Right.
And I think we also are excluding what we would consider to be party games. Because a lot of party games fit into that 15 to 30 minutes, but they feel like a different category to us. Kind of these bigger groups, super casual. So these tend to be like games that fit those three criteria, I guess.
There you go. You got that memorized, folks.
Going off of. Yeah.
This is a category that I think in our stage of life of being parents, with little kids, good filler games are critical to have. So I'm excited to jump into this one.
Yeah, they're easy to overlook when you're looking to get new games and stuff. But man, these are ones that can get to the table.
Yep.
So we definitely would love to hear below in the comments what your favorite kind of filler or short games are.
Yeah.
Maybe you got some good new recommendations we should check out. But let me tell you, we're going to have some recommendations you can check out. And you can check them out in the description below. We'll have links to all of them.
Now, here's my question, Ryan. Can our commenters also include affiliate links to their recommendations?
I believe that would violate the Amazon affiliates terms of service. So, proceed at your own
proceed at your own risk.
Let's jump into
nice.
it, though, Dango. I'm interested to see how much overlap we'll have here.
Yeah.
Let's see. You're number 10.
Okay, number 10. This is probably, I think, of my list, it feels like the most just classic filler that we have. There's not much that's fancy about it, but man, it just takes one of my favorite mechanics, card drafting, and does it at just its simplest form. This goes to Sushi Go Party. We owned the original Sushi Go. I personally would recommend pretty much everyone to just get the Sushi Go Party version. Allows you to play with more people. It adds variety with the different sushi ingredients, but man, it is that quick card drafting, the simultaneous play keeps everyone engaged. It's one that you can teach just about anyone, right? It's one that just you can get in and going really quickly, but this is one that I think we've played a lot, and it probably gets chosen less just because of how much it's gotten played, but really just feels like one of those staple party games, especially with how many players it can support.
Oh, it is not a party game, Daniel.
I just violated our own criteria. Yeah. No,
this one can kind of, because it can go up to 8 players. It starts to bridge that gap a little bit.
Right.
Yeah.
So just the large player count, the way it keeps everyone engaged, kind of. I think that's a huge thing, especially when you're playing with people who aren't, maybe used to gaming. We're more okay with like it not being our turn and whatnot, but for other people, a game that can really just keep everyone engaged the entire time, I think works really well. So kicking off my list, number 10, Sushi Go.
Very nice. Before we recorded, Daniel predicted we were going to have 8 crossovers. I do not have Sushi Go Party.
Well,
in
I
my
knew
top
that, right?
10. So
our 1 through 8 are identical.
We'll see how his prediction is doing here. My number 10 is a card game that kind of falls into this category of a shedding game, trying to get rid of all of your cards first. But has a couple interesting twists. This is the game Scout. So in Scout, you can't change the order of your hand of cards. That's kind of like the core thing, is that's stuck in the order that it's in, and you can only play sets or runs that are all adjacent to each other in your hand. Well, what's interesting about that is whenever you play something from the middle of your hand, the outside of the hand is going to collapse in, and so you're potentially lining up things that weren't previously next to each other. And so it's kind of this concept of you're trying to beat the set that's out there, and like you can beat a set by playing something that's more cards or that's of the same amount of cards but higher. But the other really interesting twist here is that instead of beating it, you can do what's called scouting, which is taking one of the outermost cards on the set that's currently out there and taking it into your hand and slotting it anywhere, which is a huge part of the strategy in this game. Because if you just start, getting rid of your cards, like there's going to be parts of your hand that are hard to get rid of because they're not grouped with the same number or whatever. But if you can get, a 1 to put next to your 1, now it's a pair, which is a lot easier to get played. So I really enjoy kind of the ebb and flow in this game of trying to set yourself up to go out. Like it isn't just how do I play this hand to go out? It's like, how do I play it in the meantime? But also, like, there may be a point where I could beat this, but it also is a great opportunity to get a card that's going to make my hand a lot stronger. But you have to be careful because there's also this element of if ever it goes all the way around the table and nobody beats the one that's out there, which is difficult to have happen because as people scout, the active set is getting
easier,
not as strong, right? Because you're making it worse. But if it gets all the way around, which is very possible, I've played this with 3 players. This becomes a huge risk in a 3-player game. That it ends the round, like if it gets back to the player that played it. So there's just some interesting dynamics here. I think it comes together really well. It's kind of got that, it's like one step up from like a really accessible card game. Like there's certain groups that like this maybe wouldn't be what I would pull out. But especially for a group that, maybe is well versed in card games and kind of either trick taking games or climbing games. I think this one is a really nice twist on it and I've enjoyed it.
Very cool, Ryan. That also did not make my list. So my prediction is not looking good, right?
Got to be 8 for 8.
Okay, Ryan, my number 9, a game that got to play for the first time this last year. You now own it. And honestly, I mean, in my mind, it really feels like this is one of the definitive 2-player filler games in terms of just what it delivers. In such a short experience, you can play games of this very quickly. This goes to Sky Team. So this is one that, obviously newer game and I think has a lot of popularity for good reason. You're flying this plane and one of you's the pilot, one of you's the co-pilot, but it's all around, you're rolling these dice behind your little map and then using, dice placement out on kind of a shared board to ultimately try to fly the plane successfully. And I love the element of, you can't communicate what each of you have outside of in between rounds. You can do a little bit of, hey, what are the things we want to focus on? But once you've rolled the dice, like, it is silent, which is then really interesting because you're not just thinking like, okay, what do I need to do with the dice? But you're thinking, how can I communicate to my partner based off playing this die here, or like, because you can play things in a certain way that sends messages to your partner that, might be like, hey, this is what I've got coming because I, did that, like, and whatnot.
I've got all low dice.
Right.
And like, that's what I want you to know.
Totally. And so it is a super fun shared experience. I love that there's, a lot of cooperative games might have the problem of like, one player just kind of quarterbacking the other. This one, you don't have that at all because you both are playing your, dice behind your, board screen, or whatnot, or screen or whatever. But man, this one, I think has tons of replayability because the different, scenarios and stuff, which are super fun.
It's almost like expansions packed in the base box. I'm pretty impressed with that.
Yeah. So, and it plays so fast. So like that's always one where playing a game of it feels like I've done so much more than what the time it took to play it. So I think that's what makes a fantastic filler.
Very nice.
Number 9.
Yeah, Sky Team will definitely lead you to believe that commercial airplanes are at risk of crashing at any moment.
I know.
Very high risk.
Yes, I know.
Cool. My number 9 is one newer to my collection, one that I've played a few times. We actually had the opportunity to play I think we had like the full 6-player count this summer. I did horrible in that game, but still enjoy it enough to make my list here. This is Far Away. And Far Away is definitely more in the category of what I would say gamers filler. Like this is just, it packs a lot of crunchy punch in the time it takes to play. But it's this game of drafting cards to kind of play them into this line where it's got this weird dynamic of thinking in reverse, where every card has like some scoring thing. Like if you have these resources, you're going to like get these points or whatever. But at the end of the game, you're going to flip all those cards and execute them in reverse. So your 8th card played, which is your final card played, is not going to have any of your other resources available to contribute towards its condition. Whereas your first card played is going to have everything. So at the very beginning of the game, like you can throw down something really ambitious. Like I'm going to get these 4 of this icon to get this. And now I have the rest of the game to do that because it's going to be the last one that's evaluated. But as the game goes on, you keep trying to be more and more ambitious, but with each thing, you're going to have less time to execute on it.
Just keep playing ambitious things and don't do any of them. That's my strategy.
But you have this tension of a bunch of different things because there's also that dynamic of the numbers on the card. And if you play a higher number than your previous card, then you're going to get to draw those like relic cards or whatever they're called, which are very, very powerful because they can give you different scoring things. But they also, if they give you like resource icons, those are always face up.
That's massive.
So those actually do contribute from the very beginning of your resolution. And so you're kind of trying to like keep your numbers going up, but how much do you do that at the expense of playing the cards you want to play? When's the right time to reset and go back down to a lower number so that you can start going up again? It's a lot of fun. It definitely works your brain in a different way than most games. It's got a huge push your luck thing. It reminds me of I think there's like some myth story or something about the like, there's this dynamic of you can journey as far as you want in a direction, but then like you have to get back before sundown or something. Yeah. But like the further you go, it's
like playing Catacombs.
Yeah, it's a little bit like that. And so it's like the more I try to do, like I'm setting all this up, but then it's like I'm running out of time to actually, fold it back and get all the stuff I need. Yes, I definitely have demonstrated how to do very poorly in this game.
Nice. Good job, Ryan.
But it's a good one. If you definitely want something, as far as if you're looking like 30-minute or less game that's got some thinky crunch, I think this is a really good one.
Nice, Ryan. Coming over to my number 8. This is one that you got in this last year. And I think you and all of us, and especially our father, was blown away by how much of a hit this one was.
And you know how hard it is to blow away our father with a board game?
He is a hard man to please, but Tumbling Dice had a way of getting to his heart, I tell you what. My goodness, Ryan, this has been one of the biggest hit filler games. We're not going to call it a party game, Ryan, but I will say the energy around the table for Tumbling Dice is pretty incredible. A game where, it's kind of this wooden, what would you call that? Like
stair steps.
Yeah. So you are throwing, or flicking dice down this kind of wooden stair thing, and there's different scoring spots. But the interesting part is that it's whatever side your die is on multiplied by the number of the scoring area.
The level you get to.
Which I think brings a really awesome balance of skill and luck and crazy things to happen. Because, if you didn't have that, this game could maybe feel a lot more like a crokinole, which you're very good at, in terms of just the best skilled people are always going to win, of just whoever's best at flicking it perfectly to the spots. But that element of the die side, the face up side of the die multiplied, just creates so much fun and chaos, because not only, one, it's, the excitement of like, you get to a good spot, but then it's a 6 and it's like, oh, but then the dice can change. When someone else flicks a die, it could hit your dice and flip it to another side and all that sort of stuff, or someone's in a really good spot, and so we're all going after their dice to try to hit it off or flip it. And this game just has so many moments of, oh my goodness, excitement around the table. And it's obviously incredibly easy to get into. It takes about 5 seconds to teach, know, like it truly is just like, okay, here's your dice, you're flicking, this is what you're trying to do. Which is huge to have games like that. But Man, I need to own this one, Ryan, because it is a just fantastic for that quick, exciting. I don't even care. I don't even know. It feels like this would work for just about anyone. It's really just one of those super fun, versatile games that you have no idea what preferences your group has. Let's whip out Tumbling Dice because you're pretty much guaranteed to have a great time. So,
yeah, if I ever find myself in a really awkward social situation where I just have no idea, like I don't know some of these people, I don't even know you. Like Tumbling Dice is one that you can almost instantly transform it into a fun shared dynamic.
That's a great point.
Yeah, it's a good one. Cool. My number 8 is one that, man, the difference between this game on paper and then this game when it's actually being played with a group, it just captures something. Like it brings out such a fun energy with the group, far beyond what I was anticipating even when I decided to buy it. And this is Sausage Sizzle. And it has just been honestly one of the bigger hits of the year.
Yeah. Probably up there with Tumbling Dice,
our
right?
Family,
like
yeah.
Those two.
Simple dice game. I wanted something that was a lot easier to teach, kind of that feeling you could play it with anybody, but has the fun excitement of dice rolling.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people know like the classic dice game Farkle, which has a little bit, or even Yahtzee, like has that kind of excitement. And there's just some fun with that in dice. And I wanted maybe a more modern game that kind of gave that feeling. And Sausage Sizzle has just absolutely knocked it out of the park in that regard. It's so simple. You've got 8 dice and 4 of them are your animal dice. And then you got 4 that are the numbered dice and you're rolling all of them. And you can re-roll as many times as you want as long as you keep at least a single die. But at the end, you're going to pick an animal to score, and it's going to be the number of that animal that you rolled multiplied by your lowest number on the number dice. And so there's a little bit of like, how many do I keep? Because if I keep more dice, I'm also making it that I'll have fewer re-rolls, right? Like I'm taking away my ability to re-roll the other ones more. And so that in and of itself is interesting. And there's this whole thing that once you score an animal, you flip it and you can't score that one in the future. So as the game goes on, there's this nice arc of like, now it's harder because I can only score specific animals towards the end of the game. But there's this added piece of the ones on the dice are sausages. And in fact, one of the dice has 2 sausages on it. And sausages are normally not good because they're ones and you're going to multiply by your lowest number. But if you can get all 4 sausages, then you get to multiply by 7. And that little add into the game, it adds this thing that somebody on their initial roll will get a couple sausages, and then it's like they're going for sausages. Yep. And whenever anybody's going for sausages, everybody's just like engaged with it.
Well, because you can't turn back.
Yeah, it's like you're either going to get a 1
right,
or you're getting the 7.
Right.
And it's just fun to see how it plays out and just the excitement of the dice. The other thing I really love with this game is as the rounds go on, going into round 5, going into round 6, I make sure everybody knows exactly where the scores are at. Because no matter where you're at, it ends up being interesting. If you're behind by a lot, you have to go for broke. You're like, I'm going for sausages, whether my first roll dictates that or not. Which is fun. Yeah. It's fun to go for broke in this game. And I've seen it happen, quite a few times. If you're ahead, you have this tough decision of, well, how conservatively do I play? I know how much, I know people are going for broke behind me. And like, especially if you're earlier in the turn order, like, where do I set the bar knowing that people are after me? So it so often leads to a very exciting final round. And so, this one, even though on paper, like when I'm ranking this list, I'm like, the core mechanisms aren't as maybe compelling as some of the other games on this list. The experience you get out of it and that I've had with groups is just outstanding that it had to make the list.
Yeah, that game, man. That name.
Sausage Sizzle.
That name, man. We should rank top board game names of games we own because that's up there, Ryan. That's up there.
Yes. Best alliteration in board game titles. Sausage Sizzle. Actually, my next one also would be.
What? No.
There's a little.
Oh, well, so does mine.
Oh, mama.
I think if I understand how alliteration works,
I know what the word alliteration means.
Never heard of it. Ryan, my number 7 is the epitome of alliteration. And this is one that might kind of surprise you because I've only played it once, but it really intrigued me. I'm realizing on my list, I love games where you're kind of collecting cards in one way or another, and you're building up kind of this, how can I make the best combination of a limited number of cards? That's a mechanic I really like. And so it was really fun to experience that in Castle Combo.
It is alliteration.
Go
Congratulations.
good, Ryan. I was scared. I didn't know what that meant. And Ryan, so I've played it once, so if there's some butchering of what you do in this game, please feel free to jump in.
I kind of like seeing you.
You struggle a little bit. So what I remember from this one is, there's like, I think 2 rows of cards, right? Because there's kind of the peasant row and then the like royal, the castle ones. But ultimately you're getting cards and you're putting in, I want to say it's a 4x4
3x3
3x3, right? 3x3 grid.
But you don't have to commit to like which way you're going yet.
It's a little bit like Earth, in terms of
a little bit like Earth, a little bit like King Domino,
playing that there. But honestly, there's other games, and you might even see them on the list, where you're building up this combination of things. But I loved in this game the way it took that and was able to then do it in the spatial element as well of a grid, because it really is just interesting of like, okay, well, where do I place things and how do I position things in the best way possible? And so one play of it, Ryan, and it was really, really fun, and one that I'm very interested in trying again, because it feels like I've played bigger games, obviously Earth being an example, that have that, but to get that in such a streamlined, quick example, it was super fun. So that's my number 7, and Ryan, you can wax on it a little bit more.
I'm mad. This is going to come as a surprise. Castle Combo missed my list narrowly. It was probably my 11.
You said the next one has alliteration.
And it does. Isn't this amazing?
This is shocking.
After that segue, we both had alliteration with different games.
I was like, I don't know, but I'm just going to assume. Oh, yes. My gosh.
Yes. Castle Combo is really good. Honestly, I think if I had played it a little bit more, I could very well see it getting onto this list.
I really liked it.
I think one of the pieces that really makes it sing is that each card is not only its scoring thing, but it's something you're going to get right away when you play it. And so there's this little bit of resource management of like setting yourself up to be able to get good cards. Right. And there may be a time that it makes sense to take something that's not quite as good in the scoring because it sets you up better. So I kind of like that pacing.
I'm so sad that it's
not. That said, I have a different game with alliteration at number 7. This is one that has been a longtime favorite. Original version of it had alliteration. This is a themed sequel. This is Lovecraft Letter.
Oh, okay.
And the original game, Love Letter, we actually played that a lot first.
We did.
It's this just simple deduction.
I miss the little bag, the little cloth bag with the
Although, the Lovecraft Letter is pretty nice. The chips
I know. It's way better.
But you have one card in your hand. On your turn, you draw another card, and you're playing one of them. And they will let you do things like guess what card's in another hand, compare with somebody, and the lower one is knocked out of the round. And so there's kind of this player elimination within a round. And usually a round's going to end with only one person being left, and that person gets the point for the round. And then you're going to go into another round. The Lovecraft Letter for us, having played Love Letter so much, really is what gives it more legs to continue wanting to play it. Like I had seen basically every fun situation that the Lovecraft Letter system could create, but Love Letter could create. This is confusing. Lovecraft Letter, on the other hand, it has this added piece of going insane where you have these insane versions of cards. And if you play one of those, now you're insane. And every turn you have to like risk getting knocked out because you have to draw cards equal to how many insane cards you've played and see if you get knocked out. But once you're insane, now if you play any additional insane cards, you get to do like the extra strong abilities.
Amazing.
Which are amazing, and that's what leads to a lot of like the new situations that you don't often see. But then it also splits the win conditions, where if you win when you're sane, you're going to get like the sane side of the point coin. But if you do it when you're insane, you're going to get the other side. And it's either getting 3 insane wins or 2 sane wins. And so that's a really fun dynamic of like who's close to winning. And you could potentially like be kind of going for both.
And there's a way you can win it all in one.
Totally. The
turn.
Cthulhu card opens that even if you're way behind,
Which
there
is
this
so
outside
great.
chance.
That's so great.
Yeah, that you could go for the amazing Cthulhu. And we've seen it happen multiple times. I've seen it happen actually in the first hand of a game. It was a very quick game.
No. That's great.
We just have such good memories. This is such a great like end of game night. Just it gets you laughing and knocking each other out and guessing, and it's just casual
Not literally.
fun.
knocking
Yeah,
each
you
other out.
literally punch each other. And no, but this one, I mean, it has had staying power for us.
Right.
And we really just pulling it out, especially with a group that knows the game and like knows the cards and doesn't have to spend a lot of time kind of like reading and understanding what things do.
Right.
It plays quick. And it's a lot of fun. It's actually been a while since I've gotten it to the table.
I know.
Definitely need to get it played. But definitely one comes to mind quickly when I think of just like good filler games.
Nice. Well, then it's a good thing it's on this list. Ryan, my number 6 also has alliteration.
You kidding?
And that's because we've already talked about it. It's Sausage Chisel. So Ryan, already waxed on it enough. This one blew me away. It really did. And it was, I remember we're at our family reunion and, I almost feel bad, Ryan, we bring all these board games and what's the thing people are demanding for?
We can play this or we can just play Sausage Sizzle.
I tell you, it was such a hit. And, I totally agree with you that it does take those elements of Yahtzee, that fun of rolling dice and choosing what to keep and keep going, and it just feels like it delivers that into such a exciting experience, and one that I honestly, more so than most games, honestly, even on this list, I was amazed at how much the entire group is engaged on each person's turn. Like, I don't even know what it is. Like, you just get so like when someone else is going for sausage, it's not even like, oh, I hope they fail because I want to win the game. I want them. I don't know. There's like this just like shared excitement around like, oh my gosh, they got it, and maybe that's just because it's a light game, right? So you probably don't care too much. But man, this game is just has been such a winner. And I will say, we joke about the alliteration. I think there is something about the name that does intrigue people a little bit,
I like to get the sausage themed banter going when we're playing.
Oh
this
my
one.
gosh! If you aren't bantering about sausage in this game, my gosh,
Not
what
to
are you
mention
doing?
the cute Australian animals talking about quokkas and echidnas. It just, I don't know. It's got a good vibe.
It really does. This is a pure vibes game, and and that is, it's a blast. So that's my number 6, Ryan. Sausage Sizzle.
Nice.
So your next game have alliteration?
It is not. I sadly am going to end it. It is a game we have talked about already. The game I've definitely played the most on this list in the last year, as in over 100 times since getting this. This is Tumbling Dice. Tumbling Dice. I think I hit 100 plays in like a month. There was a month that just like, across so many different groups, it just was like the go-to.
Well, and when our dad hooks onto something, he doesn't mess around.
He wouldn't let us leave the house. And, Daniel talked about it. It just, I don't think there's any game in my collection as much as this one that I can like reliably pull out in an unknown situation and like expect it to lead to just really fitting and getting everybody kind of just having fun together, right? And that's one of our favorite things about what games can do in social settings and stuff. Why sit around and awkwardly small talk when you can, talk? This is a game you can still be chatting over, but it gives you a shared thing and fun moments and kind of some light trash talking and
for people it breaks through often like the ice in the room. If you have people you like don't know at all, just that's one of the things we again love about board games is that they can just help foster connection. And gosh, this game does that
Yeah.
in such a fun way.
Well, and then the range you can play this with. We've played it with 2-year-olds, right? We've had 2-year-olds
Yeah, we have.
actively in the game.
Yeah.
Whether they make it through all 4 rounds without a tantrum is another question.
that is
but,
another question.
But we've also seen our grandma play
Yeah.
it, who's in her 80s.
Mhm.
And I mean, that's amazing.
That
like,
is
I mean, there's
amazing.
not many games that you could be like, in the same game, you could have a 2-year-old and an 80-year-old.
Not many
and
life
everybody in between.
experiences where you
Yeah.
have like a shared thing
Totally.
around that.
And
yeah.
like they're actually both
Fully
engaging in the
engaging
game,
in it.
understanding the game,
Yeah.
having fun. So it's very cool to see. I've had so many, like it's got that element of amazing things can happen,
Mm-hmm.
right? Which is so important in a game like this. And to your point, like it has the right level of skill that like more skilled players like tend to do better.
totally.
But you can have equally skilled shots and somebody can get a 1 and somebody can get a 6 and it's a huge difference in points.
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely one of the biggest hit new games to my collection. Like it's one of those like if you lost your whole collection and had to build from scratch type of question, it's like this is what I'm probably getting earlier
Early.
on just because it
That
is
says
so
a lot,
versatile.
Ryan.
It says a lot.
If there's a fire
That'll
in the house,
that'll be a different.
if there's a
topic
fire in
for
the house.
video.
Ryan's going for sausage or
Yeah,
not.
let us know
Ryan's
if you
going for
wanna
a
know
tumbling
if
dice
our
first.
collection
Then sausage
burns
sizzle.
down. What are the first 10 games we would buy?
Ooh,
on
that would
list?
be an interesting topic. My number 5, Ryan, has not been mentioned yet. It somewhat falls into similar things that I was saying about Castle Combo. I love games where you are collecting a group of cards and trying to make the best combination. And I think why this one is higher is I feel like the potential of the combinations can just be so great. This goes to Fantasy Realms. In this game, you're, rather than it being out on the table like Castle Combo, it is a hand of cards where every turn you are either, taking a card from the deck and coming to your hand and then discarding one. But then those cards that are discarded go to a shared, visible display where then in any future turn, someone can either take a card from the deck or the visible, cards in the display, which is so fun, and just figuring out how do I best build these combinations. And there are some crazy combinations in this game. I still stand by, no one's ever going to beat my wife's score that she got in
definitely
this
pretty
game.
high.
Like it was just unbelievable. But this game, I think it's just that tension of, one of the interesting things is the game ends once there's 10 cards in the display. So drawing from the deck is actively advancing the game. Once 10 people have drawn, right? Is that how that works? 10 people have drawn from the deck. The game's gonna be over. So you do end up maybe getting to a point where you're like, oh my gosh, I do not want the game to end, so I'm gonna work the store, the visible market to try to keep it going longer, but ultimately trying to just build these combinations. And I think that's what's interesting is to figure out, like, at the beginning of the game, you might have like multiple avenues of like things. And so to kind of figure out like, okay, when do I go? Or maybe a card comes up in the display and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm just going to pivot. Like, I'm just going to, completely go a different direction because I could try to pull this off. There is a little bit of, that kind of push your luck feel as well of going for this, big combination and whatnot. But this one, also a little bit more of a gamery, there's a lot of people that I think that wouldn't like Fantasy Realms. But if you have people who love heavier board games and are looking for a filler for like that group, I think Fantasy Realms is excellent for that group. So that is why it is hitting my numero 5.
Very good.
Yeah.
I agree to the extent that it is also my number 5. Fantasy Realms is good
Look
fun.
at that.
It's all about finding those big combos. It is amazing how often, when somebody's discarding something, they're discarding because it's the worst fit with their hand.
All right.
But that so often is the perfect fit for someone else's hand.
I know.
And so, you're like, oh, it only takes 10 times for somebody to draw off the top of the deck.
Yeah.
But usually once the discard pile gets to like 5, 6, 7 cards,
people are working the mark.
there start to just be this in and out where like you're seeing new cards because people are discarding cards that like, had been in their hands.
And it's just more, knowing what you're getting versus blind is oftentimes just better. Yeah.
But it's like as long as there's somebody who wants something in the discard pile, that means that selection is going to get refreshed with new options.
Yeah.
So it's very fun to see how that happens. There is definitely that, everybody's in the mindset of just like maximize mine as much as possible. There is a little bit of the like, if you think you're ahead of the curve, do I push the game a little bit?
Oh, that's not fun, Ryan. Come
still
on.
Still trying to get it better.
Dude, you're the guy in Ticket to Ride who goes and just drops, the 8 or the 6 trains you don't even complete your destinations. Right. Push the game.
Fantasy Realms, I just like to... if I look at my initial hand and I'm like, do I think this is the best initial hand? And if the answer is yes, I draw every time. That's it.
Oh, wow.
No, we've had a lot of fun with this one. This is one I have not played in a long time,
me
actually.
Me either.
So I really need to be more intentional on one of these game nights to get it in as an end of night thing or something, because it definitely it deserves to get played. I also have the expansion for it, which while I don't really like the... I'm gonna forget the name of the expansion.
Whatever those,
because I don't like the module, so I don't.
No, I think we played it. We played it. Oh, the curse. Yeah, we didn't like them. Yeah.
Yeah, but I do like the new cards it adds because more cards is just gonna make some interesting combos. So
very nice, Ryan. My number 4 is already been mentioned in this video, and I think you have been a little surprised at how much I like this game. It is very unique in its design, and oh my gosh, it just resonates with me so much. Like some people, this game like just confuses their brain at like how to think this way, and for some reason, for me, my brain is like just loves this way of thinking. This goes to Far Away.
Yeah, I was gonna say Daniel's brain was put in backwards.
I know it was. Every other game, I'm like, well, this doesn't make sense, but Far Away.
Finally.
I love that whole element of I'm going to play something, and rather than I'm playing it because I already have these things, you're playing it to set your direction, right?
Yeah.
Of ultimately where you're going. And so you're playing oftentimes the big scoring things early in the game and then trying to kind of fill it out as you go. And again, it's a game where you're with limited choices trying to maximize in it. So again, a very similar theme for me. But I find there's, I'm not sure if you mentioned this earlier, but there's a lot of interest also around that whole element of the number on the card that you take. I don't know if it's called initiative, what that number's called. But ultimately it's going to determine the order. It's going to determine a couple things. It's going to determine the order that you draft in the next round, which is critical. Gosh, we're playing a game of 6. Being at the end is brutal. But that
because you see all those amazing options and then you're still left.
I know.
With
I'm just
2.
like, I don't even care. I'll just take whatever's at the end. But also that element of if playing out in front of you, if you play a card that is higher than your previous one in terms of number. You get that relic that you were mentioning, which are huge. Those are so powerful. And so leaning into figuring out, there's just a lot of different variables that you're trying to kind of balance within these limited options to maximize what's happening here. Man, I enjoyed Far Away a lot. And that one has been added to my wish list because it is another gamer, filler. This is, there's people that won't particularly like this. Maybe maybe a little more accessible than Fantasy Realms, just with the lack. There's not as much text. Text and
to your
whatnot.
point. My wife does like Far Away. Actually,
well, there you go.
But would not like Fantasy Realms. But it's mainly because of the text on cards. Yeah,
there you go. So that's my number 4, Ryan.
Nice. My number 4 is a game I don't get to play often. It's a newer one, but it's so niche in the type of person that is going to like and want to play this game with me. I am in that niche, but there's not a lot of other people that are. I think you enjoyed it. Our older brother actually likes
I know
it.
What this is. Yeah.
This is A Message from the Stars. And it basically combines like... you've got like the alien player, and then you've got the humans that are trying to like decipher the alien message. And the alien has like these randomized rules of like letters that are like the key letters, and it basically it makes it that if the alien gives a word, that configuration is going to score it a specific amount.
I'm so happy you're describing this game, and
I know, and it's been a little bit. So you might be like, this word is 10. Well, now the human players have to look at that and start thinking, how would this word lead to it being 10? Because there's certain letters that would have added 1. There's certain letters that can multiply by 2. And so it turns into this, like the alien players trying to give words that are going to help the human players start to figure out which letters are the ones that add 1, which are the letters that multiply by 2, which letter is it that like makes it go negative if it's in the word. But then the human players get to send a word back. So they get to be like, I think this word will help us figure out. And you get to do that back and forth a couple times. And then at the end of the game, the human players basically have to guess what those 6-letter cards are, which is interesting in and of itself. But the big layer on top of it that just makes it a fun puzzle is that the alien player and the human player also has this card that has 3 randomly selected words. It's kind of this Mad Lib thing that's filling in a sentence. It actually ends up being very funny most of the time, like this message you're trying to communicate to this other being. But each of the words is in a group of 6. Like you roll a die to pick which it is. And at the end of the game, the other player, the alien player or the human player, is going to have to guess which of the 6 words in each section was the one that was selected. Well, the only way that you can help them with that decision at the end of the game is those words that you sent during the game. So not only are you trying to think of words that are going to help you figure out this mathematical deduction puzzle, but you also have to be like, I want to theme it so that they'll make the connection to this particular word. And the last time we played this, we played on like the harder mode where we only get 3 rounds instead of 4. And so it's like, you've got 3 rounds to clue 3 words while also solving this whole deduction puzzle. I love it. I think it plays quickly, and for the right people that like this deduction, don't mind a little bit of like math deduction with it, like the creative coming up with words. I think it is a beautiful design that is a ton of fun.
Yeah.
I would venture to say the majority of people will not like this.
Yeah, I was going to say,
game.
this feels like the type of game that either you like love it or you hate it.
Yeah.
It feels like there's not a lot of like in the middle for this one.
Yeah, and it does. I don't know what the box says as far as player count, because it was like, oh, you can play with a bunch of people because like more people will be on the human team. I highly recommend not doing that, because if you have more players on the human team, chances are there's 1 or 2 people that are going to be the people that this game clicks with. And they're just going to take over.
I
and
do
the
like
other
3 or 4 players. It feels
there's going
like
to be some people
game.
that are just like, what are we going on? The last time I played was with 3. I thought that was maybe the best. Because you get the alien and then you get 2 people. And as long as those 2 people are the type of people that like this game, you still get the collaboration of like, what do we do here to kind of like, increase our odds. So really great game. Not one I get to play a lot, but I had an awesome time playing it this summer.
Nice. That one did not make my list, even though I did have a lot of fun with it. My number 3, Ryan, is a game that you've had for a long time, played it a lot, and for some reason in my mind, it is now rising to the point that...
because I talk about it so highly. That's what I'm thinking of.
You do talk about it highly, and it is a game that I'm realizing more and more I kind of want in my collection, even though it's not a new one by any means. This goes to Escape: The Curse of the Temple.
Fortunately, I think this is hard to get right now.
I know.
Actually.
I think it is too.
I don't know that it's in print.
This game, I got to play it. I don't know, maybe a couple years ago or something like that. But I was reminded. Maybe on this list delivers just the most tense excitement as a group in what's the soundtrack? 10 minutes?
I think it's 10 minutes.
That is unbelievable. And what's amazing about it is, one, the soundtrack just adds to the... I mean, I can hear it right now, Ryan.
Yeah.
Like it adds to the excitement of...
Skirt.
And that was spot on. Rate Ryan's rate it. Let us know down below how was Ryan's impersonation of that. But the exploration feel in 10 minutes, a little bit, you were saying earlier about a game where you're trying to go out, but then ultimately you got to get your way back. Well, that's this one, right? And so you want to split out together because it's not great to be alone, because you can get stuck if you roll dice that land on the symbol that locks your dice, and you might need
black ones.
but someone else can use their golds to help free up dice to help get you out. But then ultimately you're trying to get out, get things done, get those gems out on the board, because ultimately to win the game, you need to get enough of the gems out on the board and to ultimately at the end have a chance to escape. And there's I think 3 rounds of going out and coming back before the final round, all within 10 minutes. So this game, there's no slowness into it. You are right in the action, and for 10 minutes, it is 10 minutes of excitement and fun. And the map, all those tiles, it just comes out in a unique way every single time. I think you have you've got a lot of content for it. So even the curses and there's a lot of just unique things that make, I think, every play of it feel exciting and fresh. And it's one that I think we forget how accessible it is. It's 10 minutes. You can squeeze this, because the box isn't particularly small. It doesn't look like a little 10-minute game. It's a standard box, and yet, man, it can just deliver so much in that short amount of time. And so that's why it's one of my top filler games, I think, that you can have in the experience that it delivers in that time range.
Yeah, it's one that I don't like. It doesn't come to my mind when I think of fillers.
I know.
Because it is such a big box. And it's I have to remind myself that I can take this out and teach it and play it in 20 minutes, with setup and everything. And it's okay, well, that's a filler game.
Yeah. And oftentimes we'll do maybe even multiple plays of it.
It's the best way to do it.
Because you got it out, get a few plays, play for 30 to 40 minutes.
The first one's to tune it a little bit. You're okay, we need to pull back or increase the difficulty a little bit.
That's another great thing about it, is that you can tune the difficulty as well. So I really, really enjoy this one.
Nice. My number 3 is one I haven't gotten to play much recently. In fact, I have the new edition of it that I've yet to play. So I'm kind of going off of the old edition of it, but I anticipate that the new edition I'm going to like just as much. This is The Crew. The original was the Quest for Planet 9, and I have the Mission Deep Sea version now. This takes classic trick-taking card games and makes it cooperative. And it's one of the more brilliant, why didn't I think of that design ideas that I've had in recent memory. It's how did it take so long for somebody to go, what would a cooperative trick-taking game look like? But it's got this really interesting thing of you've all got your hands, and it's got the normal kind of trick-taking format of somebody leads, you have to follow suit if you can. If you can't follow suit, then you can play out a suit, and there's a trump suit. But you've got these objectives dealt out. And so I might have that I need to take the pink 7 in a trick. I must, otherwise we lose. Mm-hmm. And other people have other ones. And so you're all working together to play this trick-taking game while meeting all of these conditions. And you once during the round can communicate, because you can't talk otherwise. And the only way you can communicate is putting a card down from your hand and marking it as either your highest of that color, your lowest of that color, or your only of that color. And so you got to be when is the right time? What is the right card for me to communicate this so that we get this right? And it just comes together as such a great experience. The, original game has all these different missions that shake it up in different ways. Sometimes you're just doing out normal ones. Oh, now we're doing it, but we have to do it in a certain order. We actually have to get the tricks in that order. Mm-hmm. Or there was one that something about not winning, none of the 9s, the highest in each suit, can win a trick or something. So a bunch of different little twists on the objectives, which is part of why I'm excited about Mission Deep Sea, is because that leans more into the just a deck of variable objectives and stuff to really kind of make it different every time, and maybe make it easier to just do one-off games without kind of doing this campaign thing. But you play a hand in 5 minutes or less. Mm-hmm. And it's one of those games that you can play as long as you want to play, which actually almost made me not put it on this list, because there's definitely sessions of The Crew that we play for an hour, right? And so it's okay, it can be a
Yeah,
filler game.
I will. Yeah, Ryan, are you really ever gonna whip the crew out and play it? Just one play of it?
I looked back at my data, and I had multiple sessions of it that were under a half hour, and so that was enough for me to be like, okay. And the reality is, if you had a small amount of time and you had a group that knew this game, I could see myself going, ooh, we could do a few hands of the crew, and that being the game we pick. So very fun. If you really need to be playing with people who know trick-taking games.
Yeah.
Like, because otherwise you end up with this, like, the people that know trick-taking games are like, oh, why did you do that?
Right.
Like, but if everybody gets it,
Yeah, you
and
kind of
gets,
want
like,
an equal group.
how to manipulate your hand and, like, shorting
Right.
a suit to be able to play that kind of stuff,
Right.
a group that knows that stuff is just going to have a blast with this.
I agree. My number 2, Ryan, has been mentioned on this list already, and is the definitive experience for us of what is a classic game that we've had. This goes to Lovecraft Letter. Having a game as a filler that the decision making is incredibly simple, right? 2 cards, pick one, and resolve what happens. That is such a great thing to have in a filler game, because it makes the accessibility of it really present for people to just jump into and get into. And yet it's amazing how in even just a small subset of cards, and this was true even in the original one, obviously with Cthulhu, with all the Cthulhu added stuff, it increases that a lot. But it's amazing how many just unique situations we can get into of how a round ends, or there's just so many moments in this game when you play it where you're just like, oh, that was really interesting how that resolved. And obviously now with all these going insane and all of that, it just has multiplied the amount of interesting things that can happen for resolving a round. And so this game hasn't it's not one that I see us getting tired of. It's so easy to just throw in towards the end of a night. And one that, I just think in that this is a game that I think of that filler time slot. Got about 30 minutes end of the night. This is one that I consistently go to as one of my favorites. So both of us like it, Ryan.
We do.
Lovecraft Letter. Did they just come out with a new?
Yes, I think it's
thing
now. Is it Arkham Horror or something? It's got like the actual like art and branding of I think like the Arkham Horror the card game
like
and
that.
Stuff. But it looks nice. It's a little bit different edition. It doesn't have the big poker chips anymore, but I think it still has some nice like acrylic screen printed tiles. It looked nice.
I'm skeptical. Okay.
Yeah. I think they brought the price down quite a bit. I think with the version we have is like $30.
I know it's kind of a lot for what it was.
Cool. My number 2 has indeed been mentioned, has been one of my favorite new games as far as like games that have come out in the last few years. Just in one that really hits a theme that feels fresh, hits a gameplay that feels very fresh. This is SkyTeam.
Wow, number 2.
And the more I play this with my 5-year-old son, who quite enjoys this game.
That's
that's
awesome.
been most of my games. So I've had a few, with you, or I just actually recently played.
He's probably
with
already way better
adult.
than me.
Probably. But I am so just impressed by what this game delivers in such a short time frame and with such simple mechanisms of like you're just rolling these dice behind and then taking turns placing them onto this dashboard that once you understand the dashboard, it's not complicated. It's like, okay, we each have to play a tilt thing and it's going to tilt that, the difference towards the higher die. And we need to both do engine ones and the sum of that is going to determine how far we go this time. But we need to use the radio to clear planes ahead of the way. And all these things that have to come together to reach the airport and land the plane it's a really satisfying, fun experience. And even on some of the simpler scenario modules, it's super fun to coordinate and get that all to work. But as we've gone through additional scenarios, and I've played with a lot of modules that you probably haven't even looked at,
Right.
I am just so impressed by this game system and what they're able to do with adding fun little twists on it.
Yeah.
Some of the missions add in some hard thing, but then they also let you get you get one special ability card and there's like 6 of them. So like even replaying that one's going to feel different depending on which like ability we got that
That's
lets us
sweet.
kind of do something. And so this just feels like a game I could play hundreds of times and still, have
You will
have
play
a
it
lot
hundreds
fun.
of times.
And I probably will at this pace. I might be at 100 by this time next year. So, 2-player only. So that is something that's a little different than a lot of ones on this list, as this is a 2-player game. But it has got to be like my top recommendations. Like if someone's looking for like a couples cooperative game, or just like,
Yeah.
you just want an easy, shorter 2-player game and you want co-op. This is like my number one recommendation now. I think it's absolutely fantastic. Looking forward to trying more of the modules, trying the expansion content for it. So it has rocketed up, jetted in
Oh gosh.
to my number 2.
Stop it.
Right, I didn't
Stop
want to
it.
rocket.
That was good.
I don't know what your number 1 is.
Well, it could be a crossover, but I'm
going to
guessing.
tell you that it cannot be a crossover.
What? How could it not be a crossover? That makes no sense.
It makes a lot of sense, but continue.
Okay. I'm going to try to change it to see if I think what it is. My number 1, Ryan, you'll not be surprised at this point. I think you're surprised how much I like this game. I have been raving about this game in many different places and mediums. It is our top family board game of all time. It has recently entered my collection, and I honestly don't know everyone should own this game. I'm going to go that far to say that, Ryan. I think everyone should own this game.
Even people that don't like
and
board
if you don't like
games
board
and things,
games, yeah, it doesn't even matter. Own this game. This goes to Seven Wonders Architects. Ryan, this is in my opinion, just definitive filler game. It supports large number of players. It's got just that plays super fast. It's easy to teach. The decision making is so simple in terms of pick on the right, pick on the left, or pick in the center. So I mean, gosh, your son, when even younger than he is now, was playing this game with us, and it was incredible. So very easy to get into. It's got a little bit of the group, I don't know, just group feel of like you're paying attention. I mean, obviously, like what your neighbors take opens up a new option, for you. The cat's moving around, which offers some, just interest there. But I don't know what it is, Ryan. This game, it's so short, and yet I have so much fun just trying to maximize building up my, collection of cards, in front of me. I love full Seven Wonders, but this takes even that much larger, longer experience and just does a simplified, quick version. And the gameplay so fast.
If you have a group that all knows this
you
game,
can
you
fly.
can hammer it out.
And different than original Seven Wonders, you could play a 3-player game of this, and it's a blast. Like it really does scale from a low player count all the way up to a high player count, and it's fun at every single spot along the way. I love this one a ton, and like I said, if you don't own this game and you're watching this right now, you need to own it, and you need to click the affiliate link below to own it.
The channel. Be as on the nose as we can be. This missed my list.
Oh
Daniel.
my gosh, Ryan!
But
You are the worst.
You're just higher on it than I am from
am.
just a personal enjoyment perspective.
am.
Now, granted, I've probably played it 10 times as many
I know
times.
this is new. This is cold to the new.
It's a good one. I think it's a great recommendation on this list. I think because I've played it so much, because my son got really into it. And
Yeah,
we
your son
hammered
beat
out-
you a lot, and it let you.
We
it made
hammered
you-
out something like 40 games in 40 days. So, that'll do something a little bit to your appetite for a simple game.
That makes sense. Probably any of these
but
games you play
it
that
is-
much.
it is a
that
good
you
one.
Get tired of. Yeah.
Not my number 1, Daniel. This one,
You said it couldn't be on.
Well, it can't be because you already mentioned it.
Oh, that's why.
Yes.
I was like, how could it not be?
This one I am never getting tired of. I've played it a lot. It's Escape the Curse of the Temple.
Okay.
It's like I've had the opportunity actually to start playing it a little bit again because my son and I have been playing it, which is a very different experience to play with just two people because, you know, you stick together, but it's a lot easier to get like stuck or like not be able to do things. I still so want to get this to the table. Like when you play with, I have the expansion that you can go up to like 6 people. You've got a big sprawling temple. You got different groups, like
it's so
multiple
good.
cooperative games happening around the table as people are coordinating on things. But ultimately, we're all going to funnel to this final thing. I think the way the temple is different every single time, the way it comes out and things connect or don't connect. Now, I will say it is only this high on my list because I have the Illusions expansion and I have the Quest expansion. I think the Illusions expansion at minimum really helps kind of give just some more interest to how the temple, I was going to say dungeon. I was like, it's like in the title.
Come on,
the temple unfolds. And if I'm playing with an experienced group, I love pulling in the quest thing that really makes every game feel different because there's like something that some task we have to do that comes up. It's like, oh, we need to revive the tree of life before we can get out or whatever.
Yeah, that's sweet.
This one, it felt a little weird for this list because it almost feels bigger and it does have a little bit of setup, but I was like, man, even with the setup,
I know
you're locked in at 10 minutes of gameplay.
Wow.
And like that is going to keep
your
it
number
in
one
this.
filler feels the least like a filler. Is that what you're saying, Ryan?
I'm saying I think I forget that it can be a filler.
I know.
You know?
I agree with you.
Yeah, I'm bummed that this seems to not be in print. I've wanted to get like the Traps expansion to the point where I was even considering getting rid of my version to get the big box version that had everything.
I'm watching the secondhand market, I tell you
what. But even
what.
the big box version I don't think is like in retail anymore. So if you're listening, Queen Games, I'll keep talking the praises of Escape the Curse of the Temple.
Or if you're listening, viewer, and you're trying to get rid of Escape the Curse of the Temple, let us know.
Because I think this is one that deserves to stay in print. I think even though there's been a lot of games that have done real time kind of cooperative since this, I think this one still holds up. And I'm just excited for my kids to get older so I can play it even more.
Well, if any one of these filler games is going to fill a spot in your collection, we've got links down below. You can click those. It also is a great way to support the channel. We appreciate it. We've got more videos. A lot more videos. And this, according to YouTube, was a good recommendation for you. So why don't you click on it? We will see you in the next one.